G'day legends, Brenno here, and I'm back again with more tricks and tips to make your next camping adventure the best one ever. This time around, it's a hot, sunny old day, and we're gonna talk camping fridges. I'm gonna let you in on the tricks that I use to make my fridge run ice cold regardless of how hot it is, plus some easy problem-solving techniques that you can employ if you ever get that dreaded error light and your fridge turns off when you're camping. But before we get into it, let's rewind a bit, because making your fridge run ice cold starts in your driveway. And it all starts here in your driveway the night before you go camping. If you fill your fridge up with warm drinks and warm food the afternoon you head off on a camping adventure, all it's going to do is work the buggery out of the fridge. And especially if you've only got about an hour to drive up to camp, your fridge isn't going to have a chance to bring everything down to temperature. It's going to have to run all night that first night, and the next morning the battery's going to be flat. Much better idea, pack your fridge in your driveway the night before you go camping. And now that it's packed, what I'm gonna do is connect the fridge to 240 volt mains power, plug it into the wall, and that way I'm not relying on my car's battery. The next day when I'm ready to go camping, my fridge is full, my fridge is cold, and the battery's full too. Now, one of the most common causes of fridge problems in my experience is low voltage, not enough battery power getting through to the fridge. Now, if you've got one of these bad boys, it's time to dust your multimeter off, because I'm going to show you some easy fault finding techniques you can employ in your shed or at camp to solve your fridge problems. But first, before we get stuck into that, let's check the basics first, because it could be as simple as a setting on your fridge. Now, almost all camping fridges have an adjustable low voltage cutout feature. What this does is sense how much voltage is left in your battery, and it turns the fridge off if the battery gets too low. Now, sometimes it's not the easiest thing to find. It could actually be buried right down in the settings of the fridge. So grab your manual, and as a first fault finding step, adjust the low voltage cutout to its lowest level. Now, this one's easy to adjust, but on some fridges you've got to press set and a combination of other buttons as well. Righto, so if that didn't solve the problem, the next step is to check your battery and the wiring to the fridge. Disconnect your fridge and any other accessories connected to the battery and let it settle for 10 minutes before you check the voltage. Now, if you haven't got a voltmeter somewhere in your 12 volt system, just grab that multimeter and probe the battery terminals. What you're looking for is at least 12.3 volts in the battery with nothing connected to it. If you've got less than 12.3 volts, then the problem is very likely a flat battery. So go for a drive or plug your solar panel in to get some juice back into it. Once you've eliminated battery voltage as the problem, plug your fridge back in and let's go to the next step. So the next step is to check that the fridge itself is getting full power right up to it. So what you're going to do, disconnect the fridge plug and we'll use the multimeter to probe it. Set your multimeter to DC voltage and auto ranging. Then use the multimeter's probes to test the end of the fridge plug. It should match or be very close to the reading that you got off your battery. If it's more than about 0.3 of a volt lower than the reading that you got from your battery, then you're probably experiencing voltage drop. The solution to voltage drop when it comes to fridges is a proper heavy-duty fridge wiring kit like this one here. It uses nice heavy-duty cabling to make sure there's no voltage drop between the battery and the fridge. And if you want to know more about voltage drop, click that link in the top right to watch my mate Khan's cracking video on voltage drop and wiring size. Now, if your battery's got heaps of power but this end of the fridge cable doesn't, then you've just narrowed it down and the fridge cable itself is likely the issue. Check the fuse on the end of the fridge cable and also check the length of the fridge cable to make sure there's no damage like nicks or cuts. And there you go, that's your 5-minute guide to diagnosing a fridge that won't run. Now let's talk about how to make a fridge run ice cold on even the hottest days. Now, keeping your fridge running ice cold on the hot days is all about keeping it protected from direct sunlight, and that's where a fridge cover comes into play. To prove this, I've pulled my fridge out, I've put it in direct sunlight for about 20 minutes now. It's a stinking hot day here, it's almost 40 degrees. Got the laser temp gauge and let's see what the difference in temperature is for the cover and the fridge inside. So first we'll check the cover. Yeah, wow, that's hot, that's over 50 degrees. We'll check inside. Yeah, that's a huge difference. 15 degrees cooler inside the cover. That is proof that a fridge cover is a cracking idea. And talking direct sunlight, here's a cracking trick that I've been using on my four-wheel drives for years. A windscreen sunshade like this is the perfect way to keep direct sunlight off your fridge when it's in the back of your four-wheel drive. Just use a little bit of double-sided tape to stick it to the inside of the window. Now here's something that I know that I have been guilty of in the past. When you're packing to go away, if you chock the back of your four-wheel drive up and block those important vents on the side of your fridge, it's never going to run as efficiently as possible. It's vital that you leave at least a 20mm gap around each of the fridge's vents to let hot air out, fresh air in, and let the fridge breathe. That way you can ensure it will run efficiently. Now on hot days, if you're opening your fridge every half an hour just to get a cold drink out, you're letting all that cold air out at the same time, and you're making your fridge work overtime. It's going to be running constantly. A much better alternative to that, especially on hot camping trips, is the mighty ice box. If you use this to store all your cold drinks, fill it up with ice, then that way you're not constantly opening your fridge. Now, a common misconception is that your camping fridge is constantly running anytime you've got it plugged in, but that's not actually true. Your fridge's motor will cycle on and off to maintain a constant temperature in the internal compartments. The best way to keep your fridge running super cold and keep your battery nice and full is to minimize how many times you open your fridge. Much better idea? Keep all your drinks on ice in your ice box, and that way you're opening the ice box and not the fridge. And the final tip, you just can't beat solar power for a clean, green, and silent way to keep your batteries charged while you're camping. The best trick here is to make sure you plug your solar in as soon as you get to camp, because it's much easier to keep a battery topped up than it is to try and charge a flat one. And a full battery means a cold fridge. A 12-volt fridge is an incredible investment in your camping experience, and these easy tricks will ensure that your investment pays off, because soggy food and warm beer is no one's idea of a good time. Reckon I've missed out on any tips? Drop them in the comments below, and remember to hit that subscribe button to stay in touch with us for more tips, tricks and techniques to get you camping and four-wheel driving like a king.